All right, we're at a nice little coffee shop, but today's video I want to bring to you guys talking about is Argentina too expensive right now? Because there's a lot of conversations going on about it. I'm going to come from my perspective, being the first time in South America, talking about my experience compared to Western U.S. prices. Of course, I got me amigo here, Nick, Bold Perceptions, and he's traveled across a lot of South America as well, so we're going to hear his take on it. Now, to start it off, first off, in my experience so far, I do think that Argentina is still definitely affordable. One of the main things that I will talk about is rent prices. Now, when I did research with tons of other countries, rent prices here in Buenos Aires specifically still were really cheap compared to places like Brazil. Medellin, I didn't necessarily want to go to if you guys saw the last video because everyone goes there, but you can still get affordable spots there. He actually was in Medellin before he came here. But rent prices are still very affordable in my opinion. If you are boots on the ground, you can go to places like Facebook Marketplace outside of Airbnb and still get better prices. But I would say rent prices for modern apartments, nice apartments, studios, one bedrooms, are still really good. Now, before I dive into my stuff, I'm going to hand the mic over to Nick and kind of hear his initial take so far, being here, 3-4 weeks that we've been.
Yeah, so right when we got here, I think a couple days later, we had a dinner and we talked about this, and I titled it, "Is Buenos Aires more expensive than United States?" And it did well. A lot of people have their opinions, and the majority kind of said, like, okay, combination's still cheap, Ubers are still cheap, vino and meats at the store are still cheap, right? But yeah, when I first came here, I'm staying in Palermo area, obviously a touristic spot, and I'm like, damn, this is the same price as Munich. I was living in Munich most of 2024, and it was shocking to me because I was thinking, how does a local survive when they're not making, 20% of what someone in Munich would make, but they're paying the same for life. But as we've been here, as we started to understand kind of the vibe that's going on, things have definitely gotten a lot more reasonable, the prices. But even so, when we first did that podcast, I said, but the safety I have here justifies paying this. I can walk around with my backpack. I can walk around freely any time of the night, it's felt like, and not feel in danger. Compare that to the majority of Latin America, that's not necessarily the case. So, but yeah, overall, after the last 3-4 weeks, at the beginning, there was a little price shock. I've been a lot of places in Latin America, and never did I see, Rappi was that expensive or this or that. And but now, like, I've gotten my groove, and I think it's not a big deal whatsoever, especially considering the safety.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'll touch on. Him traveling a lot, he used Rappi quite a bit. I don't really use it that much, but I will say the food in terms of Western prices, if you're going to eat out, if you're going to go to restaurants and cafes and stuff, I would say it's 20-30% cheaper than that in the U.S. when you're going out. But those higher quality meals, like if you're going to get steak, you're going to go to a nicer restaurant, those meals in the U.S. are going to cost you $50, $60, $70, add a tip on top of that. Here, you can still get a good meal for, $20, $30. You can still get steak for $20, $30.
We went to a nice place, 5 people. It was like $250. You want to tell them?
Yeah, we went to a nice place, probably $30 a person, $30-$40 a person with a few bottles of wine. So those higher end, kind of nicer restaurants are still going to be much cheaper in my opinion, especially without the crazy tips that you're adding. Now, what I will say with food, outside of that, if you are still cooking at home or cooking on like in your apartment, it can still be very affordable, especially if you like meat, like myself, meat and eggs. I eat meat and eggs. Yesterday I got 2 New York strips, a pound of New York strips for $5 for 2 steaks. So if you are still cooking steaks at home and you're still eating the majority of the time, it can still be very affordable. It's still good food. Argentina is very well known for having some of the best meat in the world. So in that case, I think it is extremely affordable if you don't come here thinking of it as a vacation and you kind of treat it like your normal life where you're going to cook at home. Still very affordable from the grocery stores. There's lots of different tiendas and different places that you can go and get some food. But in my opinion, there's that. I want you to talk a little bit about the delivery prices because I don't use much delivery, but you definitely have, and I know you've probably used it a lot more than I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a pizza, $15. Empanadas, you can get like 15 for $12. That's pretty good deal. Sushi, I got like 60 pieces for $50, but it was pretty good. And then like in Medellin, I ordered, well, probably a lot more, but it was like $40. But I don't think it was as good of sushi. Obviously, when you want to wrap all your water in here, all your everyday supplies, you don't have to take the time to go to the market or whatnot, and it's solid. Do I use it like every day as I do in Brazil with iFood or in Colombia? No, but at first I was like, holy shit, but maybe because I was in Medellin beforehand. But that being said, like I tweet about this too. I think I spent more. I was 2 weeks in Medellin before here. I was spending more there or on the same as I am now in Argentina. So like I got my feet wet. Also my lifestyle, hopefully that doesn't get annoying in the video. My lifestyle, I like meat, I like vino, I like walking, European architecture. So that is a lot better here than say Medellin or many other places in Latin America. Like I said, the safety number one, but there's no good vino in the rest of Latin America basically. Like you got to pay $20 for a shit bottle of Italian wine in Brazil, right? So, and Brazilian local industry is terrible vino. So yeah, like I think if your lifestyle is that European vibe, then you're gonna live pretty damn cheap here. But not like, when you think you're going to a third world, yeah, not when you think you're going to a third world country and you're gonna live like a god for $2,000 a month. That's not the case here.
And talk about Ubers too.
Yeah, Uber's cheap. $35 anywhere you want to go besides like traffic time. So yeah, that's good pricing, really good.
Yeah, and in terms of like public transportation, like we talked about, it's super easy to get around. You can walk everywhere. It's been pretty safe, pretty much really safe the entire time at night, during the day. But if you guys are looking at other transportation options, you don't really need a car here. Ubers are $2 to $5 majority of the time, 80-90% of the time, unless you're going at rush hours. I take the Subti, the subway, which is anywhere from 30 cents to 70 cents one way. There's multiple lines. I've been able to get multiple places with the subway, and then they also have a bus transportation system, which I have not used, but there's tons of more routes. It's like 10 cents if you want to take the buses. Of course, more of the public uses the buses, so it's a little bit more crowded. But I've used the subway, we've used Ubers, and so that's kind of my take on, is Argentina too expensive right now? In my opinion, rent is what you're paying for. The majority of what you're paying for on a monthly basis is the most expensive thing, and here you can still get really quality apartments and condos with pools and good amenities for much cheaper than many other South American cities that we did research on. Now, we totally understand that a year and a half ago, we're not comparing prices from a year to a year and a half ago. All of that, you could cut that in half, and that was the prices a year ago. But we understand that it's still affecting the Argentines who are earning in pesos here. We understand that it's completely kind of different economic system since then, but it's still definitely very affordable. It's how you kind of want to live and how you want your lifestyle to be. If you're going to cook at home, it's going to be more affordable than eating out every single day. And so, yeah, so far it's been very enjoyable. We both really like Buenos Aires. We still think that you can, come here on a budget. I think it's a great spot for people to step their foot in and, get their feet wet initially with South America. So that's kind of our take. Do you got anything else?
Yeah, actually a really interesting thing that says a lot about an economy. So I'm dating. I'm newly single. And I've not had anyone ask me for money on the dating apps or any of that. A lot of girls, we go out, they want to pay 50-50, like we're in Scandinavia or something, insist on taking their own Uber or taking the bus, not really like, hey, I want to go to the fanciest place, I want to do this and that. So that says a lot about the economy, is if, you're not getting harassed like you do in a lot of developing, especially I was in Medellin before this, and Medellin got completely destroyed because of, the dudes going down there and all the extracurricular activities, and every other girl would be like mutual beneficios and, basically asking for money, right? So not seen that one time here, okay? So the economy's doing somewhat decent, and it's a good indicator of what's happening.
Yeah, and I think the mic just died, so hopefully you can hear me, but that is our take on Argentina. Is it too expensive at the current time? I think you guys should drop your comments down below. If you haven't seen the first video, go ahead and check it out on why I decided on Buenos Aires over other South American cities. And excited to hear what you guys have to say, so we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.